Welcome to the Car Guys and welcome to this two-part review of this DBS Superleggera, one of the most exciting Super GTs that money can buy, a serious contender for the Car Guys garage, and after the Bentley Continental, it's time to get in the Aston. I'm on my way to Gaydon in Warwickshire to the Aston Martin factory, and today I thought I would take probably one of my favourite Ferraris, and that is the 458 Italia, the standard 458 Italia. No frills, pure as the driven snow, particularly in white. This is just such a lovely car to drive, particularly on a beautiful sunny day like this. It does give me a chance to put some more miles on this car, which I always love. It's now done 14,700 miles and every one of them has been an absolute joy. This is a stunning car. It might be just a basic 458, but believe me, these cars are epic. So here I am, I've arrived at Aston Martin in the 458 Italia, and now it's time to see the DBS that's going to be with us for the next 5 days. I cannot wait.
Ignition, lift off.
So here it is, the brand new Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, my trusty steed for the next 5 days. I loved the DBS of Casino Royale, and this new Superleggera has intrigued me from the moment it was launched. I want to find out exactly what it's like compared to the 812 Superfast. I want to see exactly what it's like compared to the Bentley Continental. Now it's time to take this incredible green behemoth out onto UK roads for a full Car Guys review and extended road test. Let's see what this car is all about. How exciting is this? My own Aston Martin DBS for a week, courtesy of Aston Martin. Thank you very much, guys. I've already got an 812 on order, and I've come very close to ordering one of these. Now that we're alone, viewers, and away from Aston Martin, I can tell you exactly how I feel about this car. And I feel fan-bloody-tastic. I've always liked the DBS. I particularly liked it in its Casino Royale guise. But the opinion back then was always that the car looked beautiful, but dynamically and technologically perhaps wasn't quite there yet. Now it is. It's no question one of the most beautiful modern Aston Martins. Not having any arguments there. It's a proper, muscular, super GT, and in a dark colour like this one, Pentland green, it just looks the business. It's such a formidable looking machine. 10 minutes into the journey and I can already tell you 3 things for certain. It's comfortable, it's sure-footed and solid, and it's beautiful. That's not a bad start. It's soaking up the bumps beautifully. Visibility is good out of the wing mirrors, and that combined with the radar display which stops you and warns you about objects in your blind spot means that you're very unlikely to pull into someone. It's not as terrifying as the Bentley system, which goes off like a bloody klaxon. So I've got quite a tightly focused instrument binnacle and driver's area. The main instrument ahead has got the rev counter on the outside and then the speedo in the center. It's tinged in a sort of medical green color, which actually gives the impression of being a heart rate monitor, which I sort of like. The display is clear, it's simple to follow, and then I can scroll through the screens using this roller on the steering wheel. I can tell, for example, at an instant that I'm averaging only 20.9 miles to the gallon, despite driving like a clergyman. You don't buy an Aston Martin DBS to save the planet. You buy it to consume the planet's resources as quickly as possible in the pursuit of fun. One thing I've noticed with the mode selector, so you've got this little S button on the steering wheel, which is what you press to flick between the 3 driving modes that this car has. You've got GT, which is your super cruisy mode. You press it once, and you've got the sport mode, so the tachometer changes and everything starts to tighten up, and then you press it again to give you Sport Plus. That means the whole rev counter changes red, it's got a more aggressive map, and all of a sudden now everything's very snarly. The only thing that annoys me slightly about that is that you have to cycle through the modes in that order. You can't flick between them. You can't go from comfort to sport and then back to comfort. You have to cycle through Sport Plus to get there. Perhaps if this was a rocker switch, you could actually flick it both ways and then have complete control. It's not a deal breaker. Once you get it onto a smooth piece of tarmac, the DBS is eerily quiet. I mean, it doesn't even feel like I'm scratching the surface of the power in this car, but we are thundering through the countryside. This feels like it could do 200 miles an hour, no problem whatsoever. It's that sense that you get of absolute limitless power. The way the light just shines and bends off of this beautifully sculptured body though, I mean, sort of makes you proud to be British driving this car. I am sort of feeling quite patriotic, I have to say. The DB4, the DB5, the DB7, the Vanquish. I mean, you've got to admit, Aston Martin's incredibly proud heritage is only eclipsed by how exciting its future is. So as the sun sets on this first day with the DBS, I'm happy to report that first impressions are good. Tomorrow we've got a long road trip ahead, so let's see how the DBS performs. What is there to know about this car? Well, obviously it's stupendously fast, it's elegant, it's comfortable, it's incredibly stable in wet conditions. I was never fearful of my life despite the amount of power. Obviously you had to tread carefully. As a GT car, it is extremely comfortable. You have no qualms whatsoever about doing many, many miles. Crossing continents, no problem. This thing will do it effortlessly. This car comes equipped with all the luxuries that you would expect of a Super GT. Not only incredibly comfortable seats, but they are heated and cooled. The cooling of the seats feels very much like someone's dropping ice cubes down the back of your pants. Out of the rear view mirror, all I can see is diamond stitched leather. It's quite elaborate, looks a little bit like an S&M dungeon. This car also comes with a Bang & Olufsen stereo system. The byproduct of that is when you turn it on, you get little sort of tweeters pop out of the dashboard, which is always cool. In GT mode, the DBS Superleggera, truth be told, is very much like a DB11. It is a DB11. They're both GT cars. In cruisy, softy, wafty mode, they're both the same. The difference comes when you venture into Sport and Sport Plus, because those modes are a world away from the DB11. As soon as you flick the S button on the steering wheel and you take it into sport mode, everything suddenly feels a little bit more taut, a little bit more alive. The throttle response is even more alert, and you start to get a few more pops and bangs coming through on the outside. So the exhaust, can you hear that? starts to get a little bit more vocal, a little bit more bangy, a little bit more raucous. And when you delve into Sport Plus, that's Armageddon. S Plus stands for scary. So here we are, we're in Sport Plus mode now. Everything's gone red to indicate how serious it is. You can feel a step change of how the car is sitting on the road, the stance, how eager the revs are. It'll often drop down a gear or two, and when you then put your foot down on the accelerator, all hell breaks loose. Ready? Whoa! Yep, there's a lot of powers. There is a lot of horsepowers in this car. The character of this car totally changes when you flick this button. She lifts up her skirts and she dances a jig. You know? Now let's give it a little acceleration in, should we say fourth? Why not? I mean, that is awesome, isn't it? What a thing this is. Might have to have a lie down after that. Have I mentioned the brakes? They're good. They're very good. The brakes are so good, when you get in other cars, it feels like you haven't got any brakes at all. So what do I like about this DBS Superleggera? The Sport Plus mode that completely changes the character of the car. How quiet it is when you're just cruising along. How beautiful it is. The roar from the engine. Sheer pace of this thing. I like the fact that it feels brutish. Just like an Aston should. It comes with history and a swagger. And I like the fact that it's part of a resurgence of a British company that we can all be proud of. What do I not like? I'm not a big fan of having these sort of tablet devices. It's not very elegant. It's not as integrated as it was in the old Aston Martins, where it would fold away beautifully into the dashboard itself. But now you've got this sort of ASOS tablet. It's not even a touchscreen. It's just a screen. All the controls, you've actually got to interact with it using this AMG sourced control down here. All the other competitors are now using touchscreens. This center console is looking a bit dated. Not only is it exactly the same as the DB11, which is a bit of a problem because I think Aston Martin needs to do everything it can to make the DBS look as different as possible to the DB11. The Bentley's solution of having it incorporated as a touchscreen seamlessly into the dashboard is a much more elegant solution than this one. But that said, this does feel a bit more space age. So the cockpit of a DBS Superleggera seems to be modelled around some kind of starship, some kind of film featuring Tom Cruise in space. Right, one thing to highlight, the windscreen wipers are those horrendous, woohoo, look at me, swingy arm ones. I don't know about you, but it annoys the hell out of me. Let's talk about rear accommodation. Now, even the most passionate Aston Martin DBS Superleggera supporter would admit that the legroom for passengers in the rear is somewhat limited. My head is rammed up against the roof and that's my legroom. I had the opportunity to take people out for a curry and we could not take this car because they physically couldn't fit in the back. I'm not sold on these feather-like touch buttons. I find them far too easy to press the wrong thing. It reminds me of a time when we had our first Sony Trinitron television and that had little feather-like touch buttons at the top to control the channels, and the family cat would sit on the television, occasionally loll its tail across the buttons and change all the channels. It's a bit like that. The boot is a little small for a car of this class. And now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The price. The basic price of a DBS is £225,000. This car, spec'd with the options that it has, is £250,000. A similarly equipped Bentley would be £210,000, and the only reason why this looks vaguely reasonable is because the 812 Superfast would be £300,000. Didn't really know what to expect with the DBS. I knew I wanted to drive one. I knew it was a contender for a space in the Car Guys garage. And I mean, in the past I have owned a V8 Vantage, so I have sort of dabbled in the world of Aston Martin. The DB11 never really appealed to me. Didn't like the design of it. The new Vantage, to me the front's not where I want it to be. Looks too Mazda. the DBS Superleggera is one of the best GT cars that I've ever driven. The big question is, how does it rank against the 812 Superfast? That's something Jason and I are going to find out in the next episode. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this first part of the review of the DBS Superleggera. Join us for the second part when Jason and I will take this car for a damn good thrashing. Don't forget to subscribe, leave likes and comments. We do read every one and we respond to as many as we can. So we very much appreciate it if you can click that subscribe button now. There'll be another one along next week.